Disclaimer. This video is made for entertainment purpose only, it doesn't mean to hurt anyone, and don't take it seriously.
This me podcast you listen. Welcome to a dreary episode of Dying. This episode was an article that we pulled up, and the article talks about brain activity that happens 7 minutes after you die, supposedly die. Got me and MC talking yesterday about our loved ones who passed and conspiracy theories and all kinds of shit. So I pulled up Science Times. It was February of 2024, so it was about a year ago. It says when a person dies, they claim they have 7 minutes. According to medical professionals in Canada, patient's brain activity continues for 7 minutes after life support system was turned off.
So what does that mean exactly? Because I know we were talking about that yesterday. Okay, they pull the plug, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
You could see it would have. Okay, so is the person laboring, but the brain is going.
Brain waves
back?
continue as if the person was sleeping. Even after the doctors pronounced them clinically dead, the researchers also discovered that every patient can have a few different experiences at death. According to a study, a person's consciousness can function even after their heart has ceased beating and their body has stopped moving. The return ticket from death frequently includes brand new mental superpowers, which often offers a fresh outlook on life. So that I'm thinking, they're saying your heart stopped, no more blood flow, but your brain's still moving. And then if they bring you back to life, then you were experiencing the near death.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, let me read the rest of it. It says those who have survived cardiac arrest can die again while dead and being brought back to life. This implies that a dead body can be kept in a state of consciousness even if the brain works briefly. As a result, they may even hear medical personnel declare them dead. That would be fucking creepy.
Well, no.
That would be like the Metallica song One, when he's in the coma and they're showing it and he's like talking like,
I cannot live. I cannot die. I can hear the doctor calling me
like,
dead.
It's not like Beavis and Butthead. I cannot live. I cannot die. So anyways, I don't know. I mean, so based on this thing, it says what happens in the last 7 minutes. Can't say this doctor's name, but he suggests that what occurs in the brain each minute, according to her life, the first minute is warm, welcome a stage when one will remember seeing the first face after they delivered. So the first face you ever saw as a baby. I hope that's a good face. I hope it's not an ugly doctor, because I'd be like, ooh. I'd be.
How do they know that? That's like goes into a brain chamber
I
that
don't
was
know.
never accessed before.
They have a little screen. It's drawing memories on the wall. And wouldn't that be just so like the first thing you see is just a butthole? Like, oh, they must have came down face out. So I was like, oh, the first thing they see is this big throbbing butthole from the mom. They're like, what is that? So,
what's the earliest memory you can remember as a child?
I remember being in a crib.
Oh wow, geez, that far back?
Yeah, but I don't know how old I was though, because we had I'm one of those kids. My mom dressed. Can
I get off now?
I'm in a crib wearing my football uniform, getting ready for high school. So
Dad's like, oh, the fuck's he ever gonna get out of this crib?
Yeah, we have no room for you. There's no more beds. You guys sleep in the crib for the rest of your life.
Stay in the crib.
So
you should go to jail. You'll get used to these bars.
My Back to the Future callback. Look at you.
Yes.
So I remember being in a crib, sleeping in my sister's room because we only had 2 bedrooms. And I was placed in my sister's room close to my parents' room when I was a baby. And I remember getting out of my crib and going to my brother's rooms, and they had bunk beds.
Yeah.
And sneaking into the bed, trying to sleep in their room. And I want to say, I don't know how old I was, but I definitely I wasn't an infant. So I just don't think we had any beds. So I remember my dad at the time building us bunk beds, like 3 of them for all 3 of us boys. So I can move into the room. So I would say I was probably, because I remember kindergarten. So I would probably say I was like,
5.
probably like 4 or 5, probably like 3 or 4 when I was sleeping in a crib. So
I remember coming down. Yeah, I remember coming downstairs as a 3-year-old. I even remember kind of the shirt I was wearing, and I think maybe I looked in the mirror afterwards, just coming down. There's
you got me thinking of something. I gotta pull this up. You're thinking you got the Quantum Leap thing. That's what Quantum Leap was. Remember that movie, that TV show?
I don't think I've ever seen. I've seen clips of it, but I don't think I've seen Quantum Leap.
Seen Quantum Leap?
I've seen things where
when he moved into different people's bodies.
Yeah. Oh, like, and he looks in the mirror and can't believe isn't he like in the body of a Down syndrome boy one time?
That's what I was.
Is that what you were gonna pull up?
Dude, you ruined it. God damn it, man. That was my whole.
Maybe that was something you posted on Instagram recently.
I
think you did. I think that was you.
I was gonna post it as you. I was gonna say we have video of you seeing yourself in the mirror for the first time.
I also remember laying down at my sister's apartment while they were talking about me while they thought I was asleep, but I can't remember if I was around the same age. Yeah, it had to be you who posted this. Why is he in their bodies?
They cut it. They cut the party.
What? Why is he in their bodies? What's the premise of the show?
What's the premise of Quantum Leap?
No, I mean, how is he in their bodies? How is that explained?
He goes through this like time warp thing where he ends up being in there. He goes in different people's bodies. He's supposed to go back and help people figure something out. He's like an angel.
Oh, okay.
There's like an angel that takes him to different people's bodies. So let me see if I can find the premise of Quantum Leap.
I was almost today years old when I didn't realize. So I guess what was that one with Mike? It was probably a week-year-old because when I seen the what was it, Michael Landon? That one show where he's an angel.
Oh yeah.
And he's just trashing these people. I forget the name of that show, but
I love that show.
Touched by was it Touched by an Angel?
Something
like that. I found it again.
He's wearing a bull ankle shoes. He's funny as shit.
The Beatles. So what? So he's in these people's bodies. What is he trying to do? Get out of that life so he can get back to the present? Does he keep jumping around different timelines?
All right, let me get into the whole what the Quantum Leap series was about, because again, he goes into people's like he stops people from like different things that happen. It was a cool show. I really liked.
Oh, okay.
I really liked this dude. I thought he was awesome in that one movie. What was that movie called? Where what was it called?
The Last
Unnecessary
Stargazer.
Roughness or something.
Where
he's the football
Starman.
He was in Starman.
I don't know. Is that the same guy?
Was he in Starman? I don't know if he was in Starman or not.
Or am I thinking of the guy from Airplane? I don't know if he was Starman.
Guy from here. The fuck, Starman?
Striker. Starman was a TV show too.
Striker. There's a classic show right there.
Oh,
Airplane.
Airplane's
awesome.
Airplane too.
Let's see. It came out, and I think it came out in the 1980s. They actually did a remake in 2022.
I do remember the remake. I didn't see it, but I think I've seen a clip of it. Well, I've seen a clip of it where he gets in the car with like people robbing a bank. So they're trying to get him to remember how to do it.
So Quantum Leap,
somebody helping him in the timeline. I think there's a girl.
Yeah, there's a guy. There's a guy. There's like an angel like dude. So anyways, so
that helps him in the original series, and then in the new series they change it to a girl, basically.
Yeah.
Gotta
meet the current needs. So, anyways, the series was about a physicist. Is that right? A physicist who believes he has invented a way to travel through time. Voluntarily subjects himself to an experiment where he believes he'll provide the validity of his controversial theories. Sam, that's the name of the character, leaps into the fluid of space-time and apparently disappears forever. However, it's soon revealed that Beckett's consciousness is alive and he's able to transfer and to inhabit the bodies of other people existing on his timeline.
So the angel tells him he has to fulfill a mission.
I don't know who he is. Maybe he's not an angel. So I
think there's doctors or scientists talking to him in the remake, but I don't know if that's even true to the original series. But there are people trying to locate him via the.
So he's a hologram. This is named Sam. He's a womanizing, cigar-smoking companion and best friend. There's a reason why they changed it. And who appears only as a hologram. Al is able to research the life of Sam currently inhabits, providing advice when needed. And he's the only person able to see Sam when Sam has traveled through time and is therefore the only witness who can testify the project Quantum Leap has been successful. So it was a pretty cool show. So back to Quantum Leap, you're dying. So the second thing you see, according to them, is a set of friends during the childhood of their first playtime, probably with their siblings and friends. The minute is about the person's experience, what they're claiming. The third is dedicated to the closest partners and love experiences. The fourth minute brings back the lonely moments when the person's involved in the first 3 minutes leave. So you get to the fourth minute and then you're sad because the last 3 minutes is gone. So you go back in time and then you feel sad in the fourth minute that all those things are gone.
You realize you're dead.
Then the fifth minute, no, you still got a couple more minutes left.
Oh, okay.
The fifth minute's report is a flashback of miraculous moments of the person's life. And the sixth is about the person's deeds. The individual will judge their character and how they interact with people and how they had in their lives.
Oh.
The last minute reportedly remains mysterious. Even those who have near-death experiences didn't even have a clear recollection during this minute. So, what they're claiming...
So they asked people, and this is their account of what they went through, and it seems consistent. Is that why?
Someone's sitting there with a clipboard and a pad and paper, and like, hey, man, can you just go ahead and go through what it felt like to almost die?
What did you see?
So here's a video. No.
Well, even for the people who aren't believers.
Who cried when you bruised your knee? I didn't cry. I got up and wiped it off like my dad told me to. Just tough.
Am I supposed to hear this, whatever you're playing?
Oh, you can't hear this?
Oh, no, I can't. Oh.
Well,
I can hear it very faintly through your microphone.
You can? You can hear it through my headset?
I can hear talking, but very faint. And I'm
you couldn't hear that part?
No, I couldn't hear it.
I'll go back to it. Okay. Go ahead. What were you saying? People supposed to what? People believe in afterlife?
The people who don't, I think the scientific theory would still say that its energy cannot be destroyed. So if we're energy, the energy that was inhabiting our body is going to go somewhere. So whatever you believe in,
can you remember the first faces you saw when you were born? Or your first friends after moving to a new neighborhood? And how you cried because you bruised your knee? Or your first puppy love and how your friends teased you?
Puppy love.
Wonder if I'll remember as a child
when
my sister broke my leg.
But you might remember exactly how nervous and excited you felt.
Would be horrifying.
Finally moving out of your house and going to college. Or how emotional...
See, I don't remember. There's a lot of stuff in the middle. There's a lot of stuff in the middle of my life that I don't remember. Like
maybe you will when you die.
I don't want. Why? What's the point? What's the benefit of remembering all this shit when I'm dying?
did you become while looking at your pet cat that you saved that day on the street?
Now, do you have like recollections of stuff when you see stuff that brings back nostalgic? Like, is that the right word? Of things that you've seen, and then you're like, yeah, I remember when I was a kid, and then brings back memories. I mean, that happens quite a bit.
there's I think that'd probably be called trigger points, maybe, right? That would trigger a memory, like a song.
What will you do if one day you wake up and find out that you had a near-death experience? That you came too close to death? Even moving a millimeter would have made you lose your life.
Oh.
Did you see that story with the one kid who was dead by all intents and purposes for this was maybe this was on Instagram or something. His parents said there was no conceivable way. Like we were praying that, and then he had recounted that, that he came back and they had pronounced him dead and everything. So, I mean, you would think he would have been brain dead and stuff too, but he was perfectly fine. And he recounts that he had seen Jesus and sent him back basically. So the kid would have, I don't know. A lot of times
there was a lot of those stories though, dude, when we were young. There's a lot of those stories that happened like that. I mean, we when we were young, there was all these near-death experiences. They always said they saw the light, they saw Jesus, they saw God, they saw their uncle, they saw somebody. But again, based on this theory, this is just your mind recalling things, which I don't understand why your brain would reach, let's say 80 years back and say, let's rehash it's like, this is your life. I mean, that's kind of what it is. It's like,
but I mean, if you have an experience where you're in the presence of Jesus, that's not your brain triggering anything. How could it possibly remember that? So, I mean, there's theories that my sister-in-law told me stories when she would talk about like my nephew when he was young, that he would be laughing and and he would say like Nana or something. My mom had passed already at this time, and they had no explanation.
Don't you think that's just you wanting that to be true?
Oh, it would be something obviously, but her explanation would be, oh, hey, how could he be seen? Like, you know what I'm saying? Maybe they had shown pictures of her, obviously, and they say, hey, that's Nana. But like in situations like that, we don't really remember stuff that's from our early years.
So this is what I think it sounds like when you die. Ready?
Yeah.
Welcome to your afterlife. My name is Rick. We're going to have a brief conversation about what happened. You were born. We saw you. Then you came out, and your parents said, how are we going to afford this child? Then years have passed. You are now hanging out with your brothers and sisters. They're like,
it was gonna be
why do we have to watch him?
Not a shame.
Why did we have to watch our brother? Why is he here? Then we fast forward to your first kiss. Your booby. You have a booby touch.
Of your G.I. Joes being destroyed.
Then we fast forward to your life with your wife. Your children. They have children. Now you're sitting with them. Then guess what? They all leave. You're alone. Life. Watching reruns of Golden Girls.
Well, let me ask you this.
You ruined my whole body.
I'm sorry, you're done.
You're done. I'm doing good.
That's all I could hear was the music. I barely hear your voice.
You might wake up running out of breath and desperately grasping for air, or like your heart is beating too fast that you've started to have cold sweats. Either way, they said that when we come close to death, our brain allows us to briefly see our life in a matter of seconds or minutes.
Can you hear this?
It was believed that after we die, our brain does not stop functioning immediately. it does its last task of flashing our life before our eyes.
Why does it do that?
But when does our life really end? Is
When
it when
does
our
it
heart
end?
stops beating?
How does it know
or is
it's
it when
done?
Our brain stops functioning.
I mean, the
In today's
brain's
episode of
obviously
Science
smarter
Curiosities,
than we're
Science
giving it
Times will
credit for.
dive deep into
We're done.
explaining what happens in the
Here's your
brain
flashback
after a
video.
person has been pronounced clinically dead. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to always be notified of our next.
It says when persons die.
Oh.
So let me go. Let me get to the fast forward.
Itself as if the host is in a deep sleep, dreaming about memories. Gamma waves, a type of brain wave that is the fastest, are produced in the first few minutes of clinical death. Before a complete drop of the person's consciousness, these gamma waves heighten, further making the clinically dead highly conscious. This wave allows that...
So that being said, if you don't like them, you probably better keep your mouth shut for a while until they actually go. So time it. It has to be 10 minutes before you say anything bad about them.
So, why would you, in their presence, why would you be saying anything?
I don't know. You might walk and go, fucking asshole. I hate it.
When the body is also stressed because of the lack of oxygen. Still, there is no definite explanation of why the brain delays stopping its functions. But a 7-minute brain activity after death is completely possible. Question is, does our life end when our hearts stop beating? Or is our brain still keeping us alive for a few minutes? If yes, can we really consider it a brief extension of our lives?
What do you think? Do you think it's an extension of your lives?
Did
you ever see the Steve Martin movie where he had his wife's brain and he was supposed to put it in another body? He carrying around in a jar.
Seems familiar. What's the name of that one?
I don't know. The Man with Two Brains or something.
The Man with Two Brains? Why is he walking around with his wife's brain?
Because he was trying to transfer her body, trying to transfer her brain.
She died and he was trying to save her.
He kept her brain in like a jar.
He kept her brain in a jar.
Yeah. You don't remember that movie?
I remember the I remember that like maybe a trailer, but I don't think I've ever seen that.
It was The Man with Two Brains. The Man with Two Brains was a comedy science fiction released in 1983 where he follows a brain surgeon who marries a female fatale, leading to a series of unexpected events. She becomes even more complicated when he falls in love with the telepathic brain.
I do remember that. As a concept, I don't think I've ever seen it.
As a concept, because then again, what's Frankenstein, right? Frankenstein, he took the brain, he put it in someone else's body, and then remember he said, "I need a brain." What was that? Oh, that's the fucking funniest part of the Young Frankenstein when he says, "I need the brain of."
Is that the one with Gene Wilder?
Yeah, don't you remember that part with the brain part where the guy goes and finds it? And it's you never seen Young Frankenstein?
I love Gene Wilder, but no, I never seen that one either. I don't think I've ever seen his. I've just seen eclipse of Willy Wonka too.
You've never seen Willy Wonka? No. What's wrong with you?
I've seen Stir Crazy, and my favorite of all time,
here's
See No Evil, Hear No Evil, where one's Richard Pryor's blind and Gene Wilder's deaf.
Oh, that one's the best.
That's my favorite movie of all time.
Oh, Frederick, are you all right? Yes.
This is where he goes and gets the brain. And Igor, he tells him.
Excuse me for 1 minute, dear.
This part's so funny.
Of course, Doctor.
Igor was supposed to get a brain.
Igor.
May I speak to you for a moment?
Of course.
Sit down, won't you?
Thank you.
This is where he goes. This is where he asks me. He goes,
No, up here.
Where'd you get the brain?
Thank you.
Now, that brain that you gave me, was it Hans Delbrück's?
No.
This is so funny.
Good.
He wanted to give a good, like a real smart.
Would you mind telling me?
He was reading the jar of brains.
I did put in.
And you won't be angry?
I will not be angry.
Abby someone.
Abby someone. Abby who?
Abby normal.
Abby Normal.
I'm almost sure that was the name.
Abby Normal.
Are you saying that I put an abnormal brain into a 7.5 foot long, 54-inch wide gorilla?
Is that what you're telling me?
Abnormal.
Is he choking him there?
Yeah. You have to watch it. It's the part.
He's such a great actor. I think whatever he's in, from Blazing Saddles to See No Evil, Hear No Evil, Stir Crazy. I think is there another any of the stuff with him and Richard Pryor was the best.
So do you think then that people at some point they're going to find a way to try to do a brain transfer?
They do a lot of sick things behind closed doors. I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, the richest people would probably, as we try to, what's it called? The transhumanist agenda. Like they're trying to meld technology with, it's already kind of started with the way people are addicted to their phones, to try to get them merged with some sort of artificial intelligence.
So they do have an ability to render brain tissue optically clear. Brain transparency refers to ability to render brain tissue and allow researchers to visualize an internal structures and activities. So in the process called clarity creates a brain transparent brain. I don't know if they'll do an actual brain transplant though.
Like, what would you call it? A brain mapping, and then just
didn't they did do a brain transplant once, I thought. There was a brain transplant surgery.
What?
Yeah, that they did that one already. I thought they put it, the world's first human transplant successful, performed on, you don't remember this?
A brain transfer?
They performed it on a corpse, scientist says. A full head swap between brain dead organ donor is the next stage. So they were able to do it on a cadaver. How would you like to be that brain?
They put what? They
in 2017, the Frankenstein notion of head, or more accurately body transplant, moved closer to reality Friday with the announcement that the first head swap has been carried out on a human corpse. The next, an Italian surgeon is headed to transplant between two brain dead organ donors. That just sounds... See, that's the part where they said you're messing with God, like you're doing stuff that's against the God stuff. So I don't, we won't be alive to see it. And this podcast won't be listened to until we are gone either. So
told you we'll be popular posthumously. These guys are talking about what we're doing right now.
My grandson will benefit from all this. He'll be like, on grandpa's, what do they call that thing? Instagram. And then he listened. So
I have all these files of a pointless gibberish babbling of my grandfather and some other guy talking about things that are long gone.
It was funny when I was searching for music with him yesterday to sing nursery rhymes. My face popped up on one of our shorts on YouTube. so anyways,
the last one with Ramrock.
No, it was one about me getting bit by a snake. So anyways, I think that it's a possibility. Like I don't know why science tries so hard to keep. It's kind of like, again, it goes to that whole Louis C.K. thing about people are just living too long. It's like you just really, I don't know, like what's the point of transferring someone's brain? It just keeping your memories alive. So it will be weird. You always think about sometimes like what it looks like. Like I'm looking at myself right now on the screen, but you always wonder like what it would look like if you like the quantum leap, like all of a sudden you looked into the mirror and you're just a different body.
There's somebody else.
That'd be creepy. That would be the creepiest shit ever. You're in someone else's body.
I had a dream once where it felt like I would like, it was this, and I explained it to a couple people, but where I felt like in the dream, like this is very hard to explain, but it was such a unique feeling. I can't describe it. It felt like my whole existence was reset. So in the dream, it felt like I woke up and I don't know where I pictured myself and, outside looking up and just full of just like what you would just call like peace. And there was no anxiety, worrying about anything. It was just like, it felt like my whole existence was reset. And it was just, there was no other way to describe it other than feeling like if you just hit the reset button and it was interesting. I wasn't a child. felt like I was an adult, and I was just looking up and almost like in awe or smiling. And I could tell I was outside and like somewhere. And it was just, yeah, it was an unbelievable feeling. I can't
but it wasn't you.
Describe. It was me, my consciousness. But I didn't feel like I was, yeah, it did feel like it was me, but I felt like I was looking out. But I mean, you know how it is if you're picturing yourself because you've seen it. But I could only describe it as just kind of like looking and just like in awe. But there was no worries of any sort. It was just a completely any care or any, oh, I got to do this. Everything was lifted out. And it's up there with probably one of the most vivid dreams outside of the one I had of my mom a few years later after I had moved to Arizona. I'd had, a vivid dream there, which had a lot of symbolism. And yeah, it's, I would put that one, just the feeling. There was no other feeling of any dream that I had like that. The one that I had with my mom visually felt like,
what do they call it?
Something different,
like a premonition. Is that
premonition? Possibly, yeah. I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to describe. Just the peace in it was unbelievable because it felt like there was no worries. It was just complete anxiety free, almost like my existence was reset. And there was no other way to describe it other than it was an amazing feeling. Like if you just took away any care or worries at all, and you just felt like, oh, hey, life is reset, and everything. It just was an unbelievable feeling.
Don't you think that's what it's like though? Before you die, that there's just a sense of peace.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I would imagine. I mean, we're both believers, so you would have to believe, as we transition to the next life, that there would be something similar to that, right? I mean, there's not going to be pain. There's not going to be, the sin and darkness that is over this existence is gone. So when you would enter, the afterlife in heaven, so to speak, I mean, if you're going off of what, Judgment Day, and we would feel like we would stand in front of Jesus at that point, but the feeling that you would picture from everything being lifted, that's kind of what it felt like, in that dream, and it was amazing. I'm like, I've never had a dream since that recreated that feeling. It was just amazing. I mean, visually, this was different. This wasn't visually like when I had the dream with my mom and I looked out into like what I can only describe as if you could picture the Grand Canyon, only green and lush and like a paradise and looking out. The whole symbolism in that dream was incredible because I was taking my mom. She was asleep in the back seat and I was driving and all these cars were going one way. And it was all like we're traveling through mountains. I remembered one instance where I looked out, and you could see like those towns on the side of the road as you're driving on freeways. But it felt like, and again, it just, some people don't believe in purgatory, but it felt like, there were people sitting down in front of their, but they were so far away. So that symbolism combined with, okay, now we got out of that. All the cars were going one way. And then it was just me and her just driving up a mountain. And then, we got out of the car and that's where I turned and I seen what you could only describe as something heavenly, the equivalent of a fully green paradise, Grand Canyon. And I turned to my mom. I said, "Oh, Mom, I forgot my camera." And I just remember saying, "No, it's okay." And then I don't know, she put her hand on my shoulder and I woke up. And that was visually the most incredible dream I can remember. But as far as what I felt, the other dream felt like I was just completely reset. And that's something I only experienced once in another dream. So, I'll have some strange dreams, that's for sure. But those are those are two of the most vivid dreams, sensory wise, both visually and the other one just surrounding wise. So it's just, some of the things like, how can you explain that? Where did that come from?
I don't know.
So yeah, some of those things are, I mean, have you ever had an experience where you've seen a loved one in a dream or dream even?
After my dad died, I did.
Yeah.
I claimed that he came to me in my dream and told me everything was cool.
No, that's cool.
I can't remember exactly what it was. It was kind of because his death was like not the best way to die. Like I said, I'd just rather have gotten a phone call that he died. You have to watch him die. That's just not cool. So I had a dream like a few days later that supposedly, I just remember he was talking to me and he was telling me everything was all right. But again, it's just, I don't know if that's just my consciousness wanting that to be the what's going on. So
yeah, that's what people can't fully explain those.
Because I have a lot of dreams too, where it's like I have hair and then I have dreams.
Bit by a snake.
I have like all this hair and I'm pushing it back like I'm a skater again or whatever. It's just I have some fucked up dreams where I'm just like, what the hell? And
I've had the opposite, where for some reason my goatee was gone.
Oh, again, have you ever shaved it off?
Not in a long time.
No, because I have dreams that are certain things that come on and go on with me, and then I just think it's just my subconscious is giving me things to. Because I have dreams of just like I have terrible dreams where I just feel horrible. I mean, it's amazing how dreams can make you feel.
Yeah.
When you wake up, even though they're not real, you just feel like either sad or happy, and it's just I don't know. I guess your mind, once your mind is relaxed, because I don't know if you ever meditated, but I've meditated a few times where I meditated once and I swear I meditated once and I felt like I left my body. Like it felt freaking weird. Like I felt like all of a sudden that everything felt chill.
So, yeah, I've had a couple instances like that where, feeling like
it just felt like, it almost felt like I had no feeling. I was just gone. Like my body was disappearing. Like I felt like I was dying. I felt like I was like in so much peace that I was just out of here.
Interesting.
So, well, that's it. Me podcast. You listen. Thanks for listening to this somber episode about your brain.
Episode.
Just let you know, you have 7 minutes before you die that you will listen. You will go through a Rolodex of your entire life, according to scientists. So thanks for listening to Me Podcast. You listen. Make sure you check us out, subscribe, and don't just judge us off this podcast because we got other ones that are pretty funny. So make sure you listen and share, and that's it.